How are you all? So, in your writing test this week, you've been asked to write something for the Generation Lockdown competition, which might be a story, or it might be a poem, piece of creative writing generally, and I just thought it would be a really good time to revisit some of the writing techniques that we've used in the classrooms. So, in this video we're going to look at similes, we're going to look at hyperbole, we're going to look at embedded clauses, and we're going to look at openers. This is a really important one, I think, for a lot of you. Using more different openers in your writing is the single biggest thing that could up-level it. So, right, from the top, similes. A simile is where you compare something to another thing for more description, so people are really aware of what it seems like, and it's a really good opportunity to use your senses. So I could say, we just heard a siren going past, didn't we? I could say, the siren sounded like a baby crying. And maybe that would convey some sense of sadness into my writing as well as giving the reader some information about what it sounds like. It's also giving them some emotion, some feeling. We've got that in through our simile. Or you could say, the day was as warm as freshly baked bread. That's nice, isn't it? Nice, warm, cosy feeling. For that one, instead of saying it was like something, I've said it was as blank as. So next to similes, I'm going to write down for you like and as. As something as. So if you're looking for a way to make that piece of creative writing that you're doing just sing a little bit more, chuck a simile in there. It's a good thing to do. The next one that I hope you can remember looking at in class is hyperbole. Now, hyperbole is where we really, really exaggerate something, and it's almost like a bit of a connection between the person doing the writing and the person doing the reading, because the person doing the reading understands that it isn't maybe true, it's just a sense of the hugeness as it all. So I could say, this lockdown has gone on forever and ever. It's not true, it's an exaggeration, I've made it sound more than it is, but you know what I mean. And it gives that sense of lockdown feeling a certain way, feeling like it's gone on forever in our writing. You could even say, the month of April seemed like an eternity. Something like that. Now, hyperbole is very often used to describe how big something is, or how cold something is, or how extreme something is generally. And it's quite often, there's lots of different ways of using hyperbole. You can actually combine it with similes. But one of the easiest ways, if you want to just get it into your writing and make sure it's in there to practice, I would recommend saying something like longer than, and then you put something really long, or bigger than, or hotter than, or colder than. And using these will help you to get that hyperbole in there if you're not sure. Like I said, there's lots of different ways of doing it, but if you're just wanting to get that up level into your writing, be like, yes, I've used some hyperbole, that's making more atmosphere in my writing. One of these types of phrases will absolutely help you. So, the next one, this is something we spent quite a long time learning in school, is an embedded clause. Do you remember that? You had the lesson on the smartboard with the words that slid apart and you had to come and put them in the thing? Yeah, embedded clauses. So this is when we take a sentence and we crack it open and we put some more information in the middle between commas. So, the day was long. That's a very simple sentence. Full stop. But if I wanted to put an embedded clause in it, I'm thinking about cracking it open and putting some more information in there, in between some commas. And we learnt that you could use today words like which or who to help you with this. Again, there's lots of other ways, but if you're not sure, using which or who is brilliant. So, the day, which was in the middle of the week, there's a bit more information. We put commas around that. The day, which was in the middle of the week, was long. You could say Miss Lister, who was enjoying wearing her summer clothes, made a video. Used who there. Or Primary 6, who are fantastic at learning from home, are doing a great job. It's normally who or which, and you can put it in. You can put it in pretty much anywhere in your sentence, but it's normally sort of close to the beginning. That's the easiest way of doing it. Have a really good go at that. That's one that we spent some time on at school. If you're not sure about it, get in touch and ask me, because it's a brilliant way of getting more information into your sentences without just adding loads of describing words. Because sometimes adding loads of describing words makes your writing sort of flat and heavy rather than making your writing sparkly. So this is a different way of getting more information in. Our writing, which we want to up-level, benefits from embedded clauses. About getting those sneaky extra bits of information in there. So, openers. Openers just means the first word in your sentence, so the word that you're going to start your sentences with. And there are some words that are really, really easy to start sentences with. Words like I, he, she, they, it, a name, so like Maddie. And they're absolutely fine, and it's okay if most of your writing starts with these really easy to use openers. But if all of your writing is starting with these easy to use openers called pronouns, maybe you've got a bit of a problem, maybe it's feeling a little bit flat. So there are some other types of words you can use as openers. You could use a verb. That's a being or doing word, an action word. So, running into the centre of town, Miss Lister saved the day. I've given you the action first. Or yawning and stretching, Nicole got out of bed early in the morning. Gives you a bit more information. It means that you can make a picture in your head a little bit more easily. So try and start some sentences with verbs. Another thing that you can open your sentences with, I really like this one, is an emotion word. And it often ends in ed. So, excited, Rory opened his presents. And you'd normally put a comma after that. So you might put bored. Miss Lister watched another episode of her favourite TV show. And you would put bored, comma. And then the rest of your sentence. And that's quite a good one if you've got a sentence that starts with one of these pronouns and these sort of like level 1 openers. You can stick an emotion word and a comma in front of it and you've automatically made that sentence like 10 times better. So emotion word, comma is a really good way of opening a sentence. Another good way of opening a sentence is with a connective. So with a word that tells you how two things are related. Like because. Because of this lockdown, I haven't seen my family in a while. You kind of swapped over the order of information that you'd normally have in a sentence. You might normally say, I haven't seen my family in a while because of this lockdown. But we're going to give it to the reader in the other order, which just makes it a bit more interesting sometimes. Or while, so you could say, while I'm cooking, I like to put the radio on. And these sort of time words are quite good connectives, so while, when, during. During a phone call, I like to have a cup of tea. These sort of time connectives, a really great way of opening sentences. I'm sure you've got loads of ideas as well. I would really, really love to see your stories. I'd love to have a proper look and be able to give you some meaningful feedback about your writing. In the meantime, check it. Has it got a simile in there? It's not a bad idea. Have you got hyperbole in there? I feel like hyperbole is a really good one during lockdown because we're all feeling really quite big emotions. I think hyperbole is quite a good way of expressing that in a piece of writing about lockdown. You might disagree, that's fine. Have you got embedded clauses? If you look in any book, nearly any book, you'll find that the writer uses lots of embedded clauses. It's a really good technique to get your head around, to be able to get more information into your writing. Have a look at the editing episode I did as well, because that will help you. That's got loads of other ideas in there. And keep an eye on including these high-level writing techniques in your work, because that's what will really, really push it. And as we're coming into P7, these writing skills are super important. Okay guys, see you soon. Bye bye.